Good morning, everyone. How to start this Monday rant? Try to rehearse it a little bit, but it still might come off the cuff. My Monday rant is going to be about my two beloved teams. As you see, one is around my neck, and my other team is my Green Bay Packers. Let's start with Michigan. Michigan played Ohio State, the game, which is the game every year because of the rivalry. And that game uh, is probably going to be one of the games I will probably remember for the rest of my life, just because probably because of the points. That one sent a real strong message to Michigan and to Harbaugh, uh, to the Go Blue Nation, all everybody, just anybody who's just a college fan. I've seen videos from different people, from Georgia fans who were number five, LSU fans, so on, so on. But let's talk about that game. The season started with a make or break game. I thought all the chips were on the table. When I saw the announcement that we were playing Notre Dame, I said, "Well, we're going to see where we're at right off the bat." And we were in that game. We could have won that game. We could have tied that game and maybe won in overtime. A lot of what ifs. My biggest what if is if McCaffrey would have stayed in. I know everybody else is saying, "Oh, well, no, Shea was this, Shea was that," and I get why you would go back to Shea. You did all that lobbying. You did, everything you can to get him in. You got him approved. He didn't have to wait a year. He started, you know, got a chance to come right in and get the job. So I get that. But McCaffrey moved the ball. You know, uh, Shea comes back in that strip. On that drive to tie it, cost us the game. That was the game. You need a chance. Uh, Sometimes, no, not to anyone player, but I thought the goal was to win the game. And if someone is moving the ball for the team and the ball is moving, sometimes you have to stay with that hot hand. Um, but that's that. So I said, all right, we lost by 7. First game of the year. It was a make or break 'em game. But now it just puts more pressure on Harbaugh and Michigan to run the table, and they rip off 10 straight wins, looking very good. Couple of hiccups, down 17 zip. I forget who. I'm not sure. It might have been Northwestern, but it doesn't matter who. It was just that they came back and they won that game, so that built some character there. Get to the last game of the year, the biggest game, and 62 points happen. And like I said earlier, that sent a very strong message. And I looked for videos. I looked for what was the problem. The crossing patterns. The one defender, number 28, was getting killed. I'm not sure why at some point you just don't switch and take him out, put somebody else in. Because if it's the same result, at least you made some type of adjustment. And you never know. It's the person you might put in might be ready to really play, step up on that stage, to really make a difference. Um, but that didn't happen. And I think that spoke volumes otherwise, too, because when there's time to make adjustments, that didn't happen. You know, I saw a video that explained that how the way you beat Ohio State, the way they lost in the games, which I thought you would look at as how the games that they lost, or the games that they had struggled with, what was happening. And big plays. Big plays means big throws. And as you watch Patterson, his arm strength is not there. There's maybe even some on regular, some of the 15, 20-yard plays. It looked like a wounded duck being thrown. So I don't know what the problem is there. So maybe there's an issue there that wasn't mentioned, or whatever the case may be. He aired it out a couple of times. I remember there was one big throw to the Peoples Jones. That one looked fine, but for whatever reason, like Saturday, there was no arm strength there at all. There was a lot of throws that were short, a lot of throws where the receiver had to reach down and grab. If those throws are on the numbers, we could be talking a different scenario, a whole different scenario. Uh, and my other team is the Packers. So again, that's the second half of this. I'll like give my view or say my piece. The status on Harbaugh, I don't know. I think the ball is in his court. Uh, like most fans, which is short for fanatic, which everybody knows, is that at some point everybody hates to lose, and he knows that any game, like even though we won three of the four games that we need, you must win. You must beat Michigan State, you must beat Penn State, you must beat Wisconsin, and you got to beat Ohio. You have to. But we would have traded all three of those wins for that one win against Ohio. No matter what the record was, because we just need to beat them. Just to keep the rivalry somewhat a rivalry. Right now, they've been handing us our butt for the last, I don't know, 10 years, easy. You know, it's just been, they're, if you look across the board, if you were to put players up against players, they got 5 stars, we got 4 and 3 stars. And that's hard to compete with when you got 5 stars down the board. And they'll keep coming in. I keep looking, oh, well, we got a great class coming in. And they have a better class coming in. That's where the problem is. It's hard to beat teams that have better players. If you have better players, how do you expect to beat the team? Your will to win is not going to beat over talent. Yes, it'll keep you in games. Yes, it'll give you a reason to fight. In the game, make it a game. But it still comes down to talent. And if you got a 5-star recruit versus a 4-star recruit or a 3-star recruit, that 5-star is probably going to outshine that lower star recruit. I don't think the season was a loss. It was an improvement. It showed promise, but we have to win that Ohio game. If Harbaugh comes back, the focus can be on anything else. It can't be on anything else but Ohio. We have to beat Ohio. He has to beat Ohio at least once. And here's the kicker, though. If Myers leaves because of health reasons, which is understandable, he wins, hands down. You tip your hat. He had his number, and that's what it comes down to sometimes. It's the person that has your number. I'm just gonna outcoach you. I'm gonna better prepare, and I take this game more. It's like they could have been 1-10, but they would have got up for that game. They know how much that game means, how much it means to a rivalry. So I'm just gonna leave that right there about Michigan. I think it was a better year. I think they did well with what they have. I feel for every senior that goes there and stays there for years to try to win that game, and it doesn't happen. Hats off to you guys. I wish you the best. Thank you for your commitment, and best of luck going forward. The Green Bay Packers. I definitely think the McCaffrey is. McCarthy is definitely on the hot seat. They don't make the playoffs. I definitely think they'll make a change, and McCarthy will go, just to change the culture, because that's what I think it is. I think it's a culture scenario. There's no there's no mix them up. That 4th and inches, sometimes. Again, I'm not a coach. I'm not a player. They see what they see. They think what will work will run. I don't see when it's 4th and inches. How can you not do a quarterback sneak? How can you not? it's inches. You know, we needed that one. You know, that call there. Devontae Adams, who was I have his jersey. I'm a big fan of him. I will root for him regardless. That move, which you had the guy that came in off the bench on, I know you made a great move. Gotta catch that. Gotta catch that pass. Was it a little long? Yes. Did you reach for it maybe a little too early? Maybe. Again, I'm not the player. I'm not seeing what he see. You try to make that connection. He thought you were going to go hard. You made a really hard move. I thought you were going to keep running. You get under it. You went to reach for it. You know, you get your hands on it. And as the rule says, if your hand is on it, you can catch it. Um, it didn't happen, and you know that kind of explains the season. We're always right there, but something happens. You know, somebody who wants to, you know, they want to win the game, so they run it out of the end zone. The next game, a fumble happens on a drive that, you know, tie score. We're getting ready to look like we're getting ready to score. At least, you know, a field goal or even a touchdown. That goes to the left. You know, we lose that game. Last night had a perfect opportunity to stay in the game. You know, 21-24. You know, you got a chance. You know, the onside kick. You know, could have got it, and could have, you know, kick a field goal or scored a touchdown, win the game. Opportunities were there. I think the Packers season is it might be done. I saw some stat, you know, 28% chance if we win to make the playoffs, and a 3% chance if with a loss. So now we're looking at a 3% chance of making the playoffs. And again, even last week when we lost to Seattle, I said, okay, now we're looking for help. And you never want to be a team looking for help because no one's going to help you. You know, you're going to expect teams to lose. You need this team to win, that team. When you put yourself in that situation, it never works out. It's very difficult for it to work out because guess what? The other team is trying to get in too. You know, some teams might not have a chance, but even still, they might get up for that game. They might, hey, we can be spoiler, you know, and maybe that's what we might play now. Maybe we can play spoiler because we're not winning the division now. You know, that might be done. I'm pretty sure that's probably mathematically done. Um, and a wild card that's probably out the picture too. You know, but there's some other teams that are still losing. I think Carolina lost, so that's still a chance. You know, the Saints are definitely winning. You know, the Rams probably not probably they're going to win their division. Um, I may have to tip my hat to the Bears. I think the Bears might have the division this year, and there you go. You know, and maybe Washington, unless they lost. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Dallas is on top, but it's whatever. Like, you know, to me right now, it's just gonna go ahead and let it go. Gonna go ahead and look to next year. Um, I do have basketball to look forward to. Michigan basketball is doing their thing, but they got a big game coming up against North Carolina. It's a big test game. You know, we're gonna see where we're at. So that's my Monday rant. Oh wow, I didn't even start off with even saying, you know, hope everyone had a decent holiday. Um, and just passed. I hope everyone used it for family time, to spend time with family. The celebration or the meaning of Thanksgiving, that's a separate rant all in itself. You know, still trying to keep some consciousness, you know, in reference to, you know, things that get glossed over. Uh, I could probably do another video about Trump. You know, like who couldn't. You know, that's a whole nother rant in itself. But Monday rant out.